Given the recent revelations of what has happened in the Smithic Tribunal, again, something that we were heavily involved in, and in fact, if it hadn't been for us, it wouldn't have happened in the first place. But the information that has come out is just mind-blowing. This is a government that has the cheek to come up and stick its nose into our affairs. Well, let's look at the Irish government. They've refused to extradite 2 individuals, and indeed refused to help in the investigation into the murder of 18 soldiers, whereby they allowed 2 individuals to walk free and to continue to murder people in the border region. I'm taking this here over to Westminster. I'm flying over tomorrow. We're actually going over is to do with Libya as well. But this document is so damning in relation to the Irish government. The Taoiseach saying at the time that the offence was political and for the police to get out and not to come back. Now, people seem to be surprised at that was the view of the Irish Republic. Well, in this document, you will see not only once, but a number of times where they state that murder in Northern Ireland was political. Any wonder these people had a safe haven to live in? Because the government of the Irish Republic thought that it was okay for the murder citizens in Northern Ireland. Now, whenever you look at this file here, you will see where it quite clearly states that armed robbery was a political offence, therefore they refused to extradite an individual for that. The murder of members of the RUC was a political offence, therefore they refused to extradite them. Also, you will see that Jack Lynch and Mr. Hockey knew exactly what was going on. You will also see where they set up a fund of over £100,000. Now, this was back in the 70s, £100,000, which they channeled through different organisations to the IRA in the north. They even used the Irish Red Cross, even though the British Red Cross had refused them access to Northern Ireland. They still used the Irish Red Cross as cover. And that's not my words. You will see it in this document. And this document was put together by professional people, by legal people, by politicians. But now we see these people trying to avoid justice. We see them trying to rewrite history, whereby, us good Irish neighbours, we done all we could. Well, you didn't. You allowed the people to be butchered. And the animals that did it were allowed to live openly in the southern side of the border. This quite clearly shows that they had been working towards a conflict from the 58-62 campaign was over. They were preparing the ground up to 66, and then they started the conflict in 69. Just unbelievable. Now, I'm going to take this over. I'm going to ask for questions to be raised in the House of Lords or the House of Commons. Somebody needs to sit down and take a look at this. Somebody needs to take this serious. And if we want to move on, which we all want to do, we all have to move on together. There has to be a level playing field. And the butchery of the law-abiding community in this country and the disregard for justice for the law-abiding people in this community cannot be sacrificed in the name of peace. The Irish government give weapons to the IRA. Over 500 weapons in one go they give to the IRA at the start of the Troubles. And now we see this document where they had set up the extradition treaty to actually suit a terrorist campaign that they intended to wage in Northern Ireland. This just didn't happen by accident. This was all designed and created, whereby the extradition treaty was changed in 1966 by the one and only Mr. Hockey, who was the well-known gun runner, Now we see this document whereby they refused to extradite people on the grounds that offences were political, that armed robbery was a political offence, the murder of men and women civilians was a political offence, the murder of police officers within the jurisdiction of the United Kingdom was a political offence. How can any neighbouring state be allowed to get away with that?